Starting with the 20-point program in this video. Now, the 20-point program is the second central plan which was launched in July 1975. The program was conceived for coordinated and intensive monitoring of a number of schemes implemented by the center and the state government. The basic objective was improving of the quality of life of people, especially of those living below poverty line. Under this, a thrust was given to schemes relating to poverty alleviation, employment generation in rural areas, housing, education, family welfare, health, protection of environment, and many other schemes having a bearing on the quality of life in rural areas. The program was restructured in 1982 and 86. The program, known as TPP 86, had 119 items grouped in 20 points which are related to the improvement of quality of life in rural areas. Among the total items, 54 are monitored on the basis of evolutionary criteria, 65 against preset physical targets, and the set of 20 important items on a monthly basis. The targets are fixed by ministries at the center in consultation with the states and the union territories. The allocation for program is done under the various 5-year plans. The TPP 86 was restructured and named TPP 2006, keeping in with the challenges of the 21st century with particular reference to the progress of economic reforms. This was in harmony with the National Common Minimum Program of the UPA government. This was the first program which had direct attack approach on rural poverty. The forthcoming 5-year plans, that is 6th plan 1980-85, launched with the slogan Garibi Hatao, was based on the experience of TPP, a right mix of economics and realpolitik. Over the years, the program has implemented uninterrupted by all political parties which came to power at the center. By mid-2015, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, which monitors the program, in a report to Prime Minister Office had advised to wrap it up as it outlived its utility. While the PMO decided to restructure it on recommendations of the interministerial group, which is presently working on it, it should be noted that the government has restructured the existing 50 centrally sponsored schemes into 30 under the active participation of Governing Council of Niti Aayog. Now moving on to the Mplads program, the Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme is the last of the central plan and the latest to have been launched too. The scheme was launched on December 23, 1993 with only 5 lakh given to each MP, which was increased to 1 crore in the year 94-95 when the MPs did put a demand to increase the sum to 5 crore in 97-98. Finally, the government enhanced it to 2 crore since 98-99. In April 2011, the corpus was enhanced to 5 crore while announcing the new guidelines for the scheme. Basically, in the early 1990s, there came a demand from the MPs cutting across party lines for such a scheme so that the fruits of development could directly reach the masses via their representatives. The government of the time decided to go in for such a scheme and the Mplad scheme. Under the scheme, Member of Parliament recommends some work, that is creation of fixed community assets based on locally felt developmental needs, to the concerned district magistrate. The scheme is governed by a set of guidelines which have been comprehensively revised issued in November 2005. Its performance has improved due to proactive policy initiatives, focused monitoring and review. In recent years, many criticism of the scheme came to public notice, which concerned either misappropriation of the funds or non-use of funds, especially from the backward states. The people's representative at PRI levels have been demanding scrapping of the scheme as it infringes the idea of decentralized planning. In its place, they want to fund to be given to the local bodies directly for same kind of work specified by Mplads. In May 2014, MOSPI issued revised guidelines for the scheme, which is simple, clear, and understandable to all concerned. The fine points of the guidelines are given as below. It provides not only the list of prohibited items under the scheme, but also that of permissible items. In order to encourage the trust and societies to work for the betterment of tribal people, the ceiling of 50 lakhs stipulated for building assets by trust and societies in areas occupied by tribals have been enhanced to 75 lakh rupees. Further, to promote cooperative movement and rural development, the cooperative societies have been made eligible under the Mplad scheme. The abandoned or suspended Mplad work to be completed by the states. Natural and man-made calamities can also be allocated funds under it. Now, the funds can be allocated by a MP outside of the constituency too. It can converge with other approved central and state government schemes like Manrega, etc. Funds from the local bodies can be pooled with Mplad work. Public and community contribution is made permissible in the scheme. One MP, one idea, an annual competition for the best innovation in solving local problems. A proper mechanism for its implementation and auditing has also been put in place. To provide MPs a greater choice under the scheme, a list of indicative and illustrative shells of project has been expanded, touching the fields of infrastructure development, drinking water, education, road, health, sanitation, natural calamity, etc. The scheme has been given more dynamism and flexibility. Now, multi-level planning. It was by the late 1950s and early 1960s that the state demanded the right to plan at the state level. By mid-1960s, the state government was given power to plan by the center, advising them that they should promote planning at the lower levels of the administrative strata too, that is at the district level planning, via municipalities, corporations in the urban areas, and via block level through panchayat and tribal boards. By the early 1980s, India was a country of multi-level planning with structure and strata of planning as follows. The first strata, which was at the central level planning, at this level, three types of central plans have evolved over the years: the 3 5-year plans, the 20-point program, and Mplads. Second strata, that is the state level planning. By the mid-1960s, the state were planning at the state level with their representative planning bodies, the state planning boards, with their respective CMs as being their de facto chairmen. The plans of the states were for a term of 5 years and parallel to the concerned 5-year plans of the center. Now, third strata was the district level planning. By the late 1960s, all districts of the states were having their own plans with the respective district planning boards, with the respective district magistrates as being the de facto chairman. The district level plans are to be implemented now via municipalities or corporations in the urban areas and panchayats via blocks in the rural areas. The fourth strata, that is the block level planning, as a part of district level planning, the block level planning came up, which had the district planning boards as their nodal body. Below the blocks, India developed the planning at the local levels too. Fifth strata, that is the local level planning. By the early 1980s, plans were being implemented at the local level via blocks, and they had district planning boards as the nodal agency. Due to socio-economic differentiations among the population, local village planning in India developed with three variants, namely village level planning, hill area planning, tribal area planning. Basically, the MLP was started to promote the process of decentralization planning in the country. It was the Indian version of the democratic planning, which ultimately sought to guarantee people's participation in the process of planning. But it failed to do so due to many reasons. The reasons are discussed below. It could not promote people's participation in the formulation of various plans. The basic idea of MLP plan model was that once local level plans were handed over to the blocks will make their plans, and once the blocks had handed over their plans to the district level plans will be formulated. Similarly, the state plans, and finally the 5-year plan if center were formulate one. Now, by doing so, every idea of the planning will have the representation of everybody in the country at the time of plan formulation. A special kind of plan, empathy, would have developed out of this process, but this was not the reality. Every strata made their own plans, lacking the empathy factor. Only center plans were implemented as the state lacked the required level of finance to support the plans. They ultimately had to satisfy by implementing the central plans, which failed to include state empathy. As the local bodies in India were not having any constitutional mandate, they just played the complementary role to the state planning process. As they had no financial independence, their plans, even if they were formulated, remained only on paper. The MLPs thus failed to include people's participation in planning, badly betraying the local aspirations. But at least the failure of MLP made the government to think in the direction of decentralized planning afresh, leading to enactment of two important constitutional amendments, the 73rd and 74th Amendment. Now, way to decentralized planning. Economic plan was basically an element of centralized kind of political system, that is socialist and communist. When India decided in favor of a planned economy, it was to face double challenge. The first challenge was to realize the objective of the planning in a time-bound frame and making planning a suitable instrument of development in democratic setup, that is to democratize and decentralize the process of planning itself. The government tried to decentralize the planning process by setting up NDC and promoting MLP, but without being able to achieve the desired results. By the late 1980s, a direct link was established between development and democracy, and it was established that the above given challenges were basically complementary. That is, without solving the second challenge, that is decentralization, the first challenge, that is development, cannot be solved. Finally, once PRI were given the constitutional status, first time planning became a constitutional exercise at any level, that is, panchayat level. Though the planning at the center and state levels are still extra constitutional activity, it has become constitutional at the level of local bodies. Kerala has shown some path breaking good work via local body planning, but still there are many hurdles to be solved before local bodies are really able to plan for their proper development. These hurdles are, as per experts, are as under: the financial status of PRI is still not stabilized. The taxes the PRIs can impose is still not clear. The state assemblies have been procrastinating in delegating timely and needful power to the PRIs. Low level of awareness among the local people regarding the right to information and right functioning of PRIs. Use of money and muscle power in PRI election in some states. By mid 2002, there took place an All India Panchayat Adhyaksh Sammelan in New Delhi. At the end of the conference, the Panchayat Adhyaksh handed over a 21-point memorandum to the government which specifically dealt with the financial status of PRI. In July 2002, while the then PM was addressing an annual meet of the district rural development agencies, he announced that PRIs will be given financial autonomy very soon. He further added that once there is a political consensus, the government might go in further for constitutional amendments. Unfortunately, the same coalition, that is NDA, did not come to power in the forthcoming elections, but the UPA government did not look less serious on the issue of participatory development. By the mid 2006, the Planning Commission wrote letters to every chief minister of the state before 11th plan commencing. It wants all PRIs are duly delegated their functional powers of planning from the concerned states. Otherwise, funds kept for local development will not flow into the states. This shows the seriousness of the central government. Meanwhile, the central government is aimed at redrawing the contours of decentralized planning in the government. The new development think tank, Niti Aayog, has completely new orientation towards the decentralized planning. The body has designed the development policies keeping in mind the needs of the nation, states and PRIs. This will be one of its kind, a fully integrated planning process. It has to use the bottoms-up approach, unlike the one-size-fits-all top-down approach of the past. To the extent the finalization of plans and required funds are concerned, all stakeholders will have their say through Governing Council, which is composed of CMs of the states and chief ministers of UTs, promoting the idea of Team India, which will be working on a common national agenda. It has to promote the idea of cooperative federalism, which in itself is a highly decentralized style of promoting developmental planning. By early 2015, we saw a change in the central government's outlook towards the funds requirement by the states, which is states got new 42% share in the pool of taxes of the center. Recommendation of the 14th Finance Commission accepted. States are getting liberal funding, loan plus grants from the center to implement the state's plan. One of the aim behind implementing the proposed GST is to enhance the internal financial capacity of the states, as the new tax will increase the gross tax collection of the states. States are now free to go for higher market borrowings without any permission for the center, but such a move has to come from center. The UDAY, that is Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, launched in 2015-16, is one such approval of the central government under which states are allowed to issue UDAY bonds up to 75% of the dues of electricity distribution companies by the states. By mid-2016, the total Discom debt in the country amounted to 4.3 lakh crore. Now, Planning Commission and the Finance Commission. I think we'll cover this video in the next video. That'll be all for this.